I was sprinting to the bathroom just a couple seconds ago and somebody said, "Are you all right?" I was like, "Not really. I have to go to the bathroom." But also, I think I'm a little emotional. I think comings and goings make me emotional. I think time spent close with people makes you emotional. And certainly having your brother's children in your life for a couple days make you emotional. Rod is, only 21, but we're 10 years apart. So do the math. It wasn't that funny. You see, yeah, we're 12 years apart. Okay, whatever. We've talked about you before here and your bad math. But, I'm the oldest kid in a bunch of kids, and that means when they were born, I got to watch them and see them and diaper them and powder them and hold them and rock them and love them, like a comadre in some cases. Rod was the smartest kid in the world before these kids. The smartest kid in the world, reading at such a young age, fading and tossing a Nerf football like a pro. And my favorite story, and if I've said it before, let me say it one more time. One time Rod got lost at the mall. He was maybe 2.5. Mom had taken him shopping and they got separated. And he went to the desk and told the people, "My name is Jacqui Lewis. I live at 9842 South Winston. My phone number is 773-238-8923, and my mother is lost." All righty then. Hang on to your children, because you don't know how they'll rat you out. I'm emotional today thinking of the lessons I learned loving little siblings, and the lessons they taught me. When you're a teenager babysitting kids, what you think in your mind is, "I'm not going to be like mom and dad, because mom and dad are mean," is what you're thinking in your mind. So my favorite thing to do with the kids was, we're going to do our chores, and we're only going to spend an hour on the chores, and then we're out. Wasn't that fun? An hour on the chores, and then we're out. So, let's make the beds, let's do the thing, let's blah, 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 and then we'll go out and have ice cream. But then you were mean like your mom and dad at some point in time because you took in mean, meaning you took in discipline, meaning you took in no. Are you with me? You took in yes to ice cream, but you also took in no. No, you can't have a pint of ice cream, or you can't have a gallon, or no, you can't run in the streets, you'll get hit by a car. The lessons that our parents gave us are love lessons. Lessons about how to be a person in the world. Some of our parents got them really, really right. Some of them made mistakes. None of them were perfect. But they were teaching us that love is an action. And they were doing the very best they could, most of them, to try to impart to us ways to be a people. Now, I'm a Christian. I'm a Universalist Christian, but I'm a Christian. And one of my sort of lessons about love teachers is Jesus. Just true. Just a great guide for how to love. And what does Jesus teach? Love God with everything you have. Love your neighbor as yourself. When someone says, "Well, who's my neighbor?" Because not only kids, but us adults too are often trying to find the way around. Do I have to love those people also? When Jesus taught the love thing, he said, "Look, let me tell you what it's about. It's see this guy, see this Samaritan guy, see this guy that's not one of us." When he walked by the stranger that was sick on the street, he took him to a hotel, paid the bill, made sure that he was well. That's what love looks like. And then the rabbis that came after Jesus, hearing him talk about love neighbor, love God, love self, feed the hungry, feed the poor, take care of the orphans, they did midrash on Jesus' teachings. They amplified his teachings. And that brings us to Paul's letter today. Paul, who wasn't one of the original disciples, but who was a disciple nonetheless, an apostle, he says. Blinded by a light, Rob told us there was no horse, so let's never say that again. But an encounter with the holy that totally rewired him, made him stop persecuting the Christians and began to be a one who recruited people into the way. It's Paul's letter, his teaching, his lessons on how love is an action that catch my imagination as I prepare to go on vacation and get some rest. I'm not this woo-woo girl. I'm not this yoga girl. Not at all. But I'm trying to do more spiritual work for myself. Wire myself for the revolution that is the love revolution, starting from the inside out. We can't do the love revolution without something inside. So here's Paul. He starts in chapter 12, 1 through 8, saying, we need to present our bodies as a living sacrifice. Don't be conformed to the world, but be transformed by the renewing of your minds. Be changed, metanoia, be transformed, be different, like clay pushing through a Play-Doh machine, children. How it starts in a big lump, but then you push it through the star and suddenly it looks like a star, or you push it through the hole and suddenly it looks like a hole. To be transformed. And he's not content to be generic. And so I want to be specific. Let love, agape love, be genuine without hypocrisy. Cling to, hang on to what is good. In filial love, friendship love of the brother, be affectionate to the sister. Persevere, keep on trucking when you bump into trouble. Take care of those who are poor and needy with your prayers and your offerings. Those are the sort of first 5 verses, and he's sort of laying out, here's what it kind of looks like to be a Christian. But then he gets really specific about what not to do. We're to abhor, have disdain for, distaste for that which is evil. It's a strong word, like the abhor word is like to be horrified by evil, to be repelled by that which is broken. He talks then about how there's some things that are evil in the world, but there's also evil in others, and I think he's saying to be repelled by that which is in ourselves. A little stank. I mean, I don't think anybody wants to think of ourselves as evil, but it is the very best of us that has the ability to be unkind, uncharitable, and quite frankly, a little foul, especially when we're hurt. Amen? The wounding that happens to us from another person sometimes sticks in our craw, and before we know it, we're reflecting back exactly the same kind of behavior to them. Now, I know the saints of God in here never behave that way. But you know a couple people, right? You're thinking, every now and then Penelope is stank like that, but not me. Play this sermon for her if you think it's appropriate. Rather than be drawn to what's evil, stick like glue to what's good. Look for role models. Find someone for whom you see as setting the bar and follow that person, is what Paul is saying. I was watching RJ and Rio yesterday. Yes, you. And they were really sleepy and tired because Auntie Jacqui was running them around the house. Not. But I watched Rio put her head on her brother's shoulder, and I watched him let her do that, even though I think he was feeling a little big brother annoyance. He let her cling to him for protection and for love. When love is absent, we're not fully ourselves. When we don't have a place and space in which to cling or lean or connect or hold, we're not really fully ourselves. In other words, we're really who we're called to be when we're in relationship and when we're in community. Amen? Paul is saying, find a place to stick with someone or something. Now, all of the relationships in which we find ourselves are not necessarily stick-worthy. And Paul's not saying stay beyond your welcome. But I think he is speaking to us about the power of human connection to heal us and rewire us and make us whole. So this is about a horizontal relationship that mimics the relationship that we have with God, and that in those relationships mirror to us who we are called to be and what we're like in our best self. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? Do you have those kinds of relationships where someone loves you enough to tell you the truth about you, on you, so you see you? Okay, that sounded familiar, right? Like those relationships where you don't have to do fake and false and fraud because they're going to say, girl, I know. I know what you're working with. And they'll both love you enough to mirror for you your best, highest self, but also love you enough to say, I don't think that's good television, what you're doing right there. Be fervent in spirit, Paul says. Literally, spirit burning or boiling, like fervent in breath, fervent in God's Spirit, to be on fire with God's Spirit. I think he says that because he knows that the kind of love he's calling us to cannot happen just of our own will. Given our own devices, disappointments, hurts, fractures, human failings, make us run for the door because we don't want to hurt anymore. That sounds like Whitney Houston. But Paul is advising that if we ground ourselves in the same place, in the same spirit, then we have a reservoir with which to have human connections. That if we stick ourselves in the ground that is of all great being, that will allow us to be in relationship with one another. I was reading some Martin Luther King Jr. getting ready for this sermon today, and he says more than one time while talking about nonviolent protest that the end of the life of faith is reconciliation. Now, I'm a black woman in the Black Lives Matter movement, and quite frankly, I've been resisting the word reconciliation for a while. I've been thinking, we're not ready for that as a human community. I've been thinking, before we get to the word reconciliation, we need to talk about reparations. Before we get to the word reconciliation, we've got to have a little rage. Before we get to reconciliation, we've got to have some truth-telling. But I think I got convicted this week that reconciliation is actually the telos, actually the end of all of the life we're called to. In other words, way before fighting, way before wrestling, way before truth and confession is just seeing each other already as reconciled, as connected. I'm already with you, in other words. We're already one, in other words. We're already one person, is what the Buddhists would say. And so how can I be at enmity with me? That gives me the shivers. I think I'm a good person. I think I'm a good girl. But there's so much crap happening in the world. There's so much stuff going on in the world that I'm enjoying having enemies right now. Can I confess that to you? I'm just enjoying having enemies. Those guys. Those people that want to stomp healthcare. Those guys. Those evangelical white people who voted for Trump. Those guys. Those people who think poverty is the fault of the person who's poor. Those guys. Those guys are my enemy. But I think Paul is saying that's not love. All of my activism, all of my justice work, all of my pushing and shoving of systems and structures, if I'm doing that to the enemy, that's not love. The aim, Dr. King says, of all of our life of faith is to make friends of our opponents. What? I don't want to be friends with them. I don't like it. So little people lessons, moms and dads always pushing them together. No, hold your brother's hand. Share that toy. Be friends with that enemy. Paul says, feed them. Give them something to drink when they're thirsty. No, protest them. Can we protest them and love them? Can we battle for justice and love them? Can I personally hold together a passionate commitment to change the world and not make opponents of everyone who disagrees with me? Love is an action. The action is get arrested and go to jail or stand in line or live up a poster. But maybe the other action is how can I have a conversation across a divide? Maybe I can't just preach to the choir. God, I want to just preach to the choir. Rod and I grew up in a household with parents who were not perfect, but who pushed us toward each other always. This is your family, this is your friend, this is your buddy, this is your partner, these are your people. And we're family, middle, in this room, pushed toward each other by the God who loves us and created us, grounded together in spirit so that even when we're different, we're one body. We're like one body. And that thing, that connected tissue, that clinging to each other like a sinew clings to bones isn't actually just for us, it's also for everybody outside the doors. Like the love thing isn't about Christian, the love thing isn't about middle, the love thing isn't about people who are like us. The love call, the crazy, ridiculous, demanding love call is for us to send it into the world toward all of the people, maybe even especially the ones that are not like us. So that we can, in fact, reconcile. The genuine love that Paul is talking about is love that sees past difference and makes friends out of the other. What a pain in the behind that can be. But it's our job. It's the thing that sets us apart. We're not set apart because we call ourselves Christians. We're not set apart because we're smart or thoughtful or, some of you, beautiful. We're set apart, just being real, set apart to be these people. These kind of covenant people, drawn by God's tether toward each other. That's what makes us us. That's what makes us call ourselves Christian, or that's what makes us call ourselves faithful. That's it. It's hard. It's yucky. I don't like it. The end. No. Right? Can you join me? We're on this walk, right? We're on this walk the talk thing, walk the talk. So if you read this chapter, you gotta go, yeah. Loving is not a theory. Loving is not an affect. Loving is not a posture. Loving is a do. Two factual things. Who's the person you're most angry with right now? Don't tell me. Especially if it's me. Please don't tell me. I can't take it, I'm tired. No. Who's the person you're most angry with? Just see that person. How are they like you? You can put this on the back of your summer to-do list about love. How's that person like you that you're angry with? That's the beginning of empathy. Is what you're angry about so important as to stay angry and waste energy on it? Let it go. Seriously. And if it is important, then go make peace with the person. Why? That was a question for real. Why? Why would we make peace with the person? Oh, come on. Why would we make peace with the person? So you can make peace with yourself. What? You don't need the emotional baggage. It's heavy. You can't sprint well with it. Why? One more. It's your job. It's your job. It is your job. It's the thing that makes us us. We don't have to be wrapped in the anger like it's a blanket or strengthened by the anger like it's power, because it's not. 2, where are you not with you? Where are you not with you? Where are you angry with you? Where are you disappointed with you? Where are you upset with you? Where are you disenfranchised with you? Where are you not right with you? Make a commitment to reconcile that as well. Shame, disappointment, wish I coulda, woulda, shoulda. Does it help you? It doesn't help me. I've got a big list, smaller than it used to be, but it's a big list of ways I wish I could have had done something different. It's a stumbling block to my growing if I keep it in the center of my eyes. And I want to grow. Don't you want to grow? Don't you want to grow?
Yes.
Don't you want to grow? Yes. Don't you want to be the you that you're called to be? Not the you were yesterday. So I'm leaving. We're going to do some communion. I feel like I want to scream some sermon at you today. That's not what I really feel. I really feel like I want every single one of you to be thinking about love as an action, particular, specific action, genuine love. Read this chapter again and hear Paul mid-rashing, riffing on Jesus. Love neighbor, love self, love God with everything. Let your love be genuine. Feed your enemies. Cling to what's good. Rejoice when there's joy. Weep with those who are weeping. Empathy, connectedness, human family, one family, grounded in spirit. Those are our marching orders. Any questions? Amen.